Hello students, welcome to the English class of Basava Residential Girls School for standard 9th. I am your English teacher Kavita Victor. Today we learn a new lesson. Okay, this is the first lesson. Last time we learnt a poem, now we learn a prose. It is titled The Best Advice I Ever Had. It was written by Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. This is Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Now, she is the sister of our former Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, she is a younger sister. Now, in this lesson, we will see that Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit has written about her experiences. Actually, this one came out as an article in the Reader's Digest. So, we will see a few important words for the glossary. So, these glossary words are very important because these are new words. Once you learn them, you have to start using them in your daily conversations. That is how you will build your vocabulary. First word is anguish. It is a noun. See, in the bracket it's written noun, right? N means noun. So, it means severe mental or physical pain or suffering. That is called anguish. At a low ebb. That's the second word, second phrase in fact. Low ebb means, see this tidal waves, the waves of the sea, no? If it because of the effect of the moon, the waves or the water in the sea, it keeps receding. It will go back and again come near the shore. The shoreline keeps increasing and decreasing. That is called low ebb and high tide and low tide, you would have heard. So low ebb, so that she is using here. Low ebb means at a low level, when the water is going back inside, when the water is receding, no, just like that. Here it means not the water but the spirit, being low in spirit, being very sad. Humiliating means very embarrassing. Resent, it is a verb. In the bracket, if it is written V, it's a verb. To feel bitter about, to feel very bad about. Galling, it's an adjective, which means very annoying, very which doesn't make you feel good. Antiquated, that is also an adjective. Antiquated means outdated. See, it is related to the word antique. What is antique? Which is old. So antiquated means something which is not of any value today. Retaliate, which is a verb which means to hit back, to strike back. See, for example, if you see in war, if one country throws a bomb, what will the other on one country, what will that country do? It will retaliate, it will strike back, isn't it? Courtesy, it is a noun. Courtesy means good manners, polite speech or action. To inflict, that is a verb. Inflict means to impose, to cause. Usually it is used in a negative sense. To inflict a wound means to cause to hurt somebody. Gesture, which is a noun, which means action or activity. Duel, which is again a noun, which means to fight or to clash. We'll see some more words. Perspective is a noun, which means point of view or outlook. Meticulously is an adverb which means very carefully. Hysterical, which is again an adjective which means crazy. The pivot of existence, that means the main cause of existence, the center of existence. Glazed means blank or dull. There's another word, ladle, which means usually a large sized spoon. Ladle, with which we serve rice or sambar or any curry, that is called a ladle. Even the one which we use for cooking, that is called ladle. Now we'll go into the story. See, this is Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit. What does she? We'll start. Okay. This lesson is about her life. She gives 3 instances in her life where the advice given to her by one person has made her life more meaningful and useful to live in a very happy and light way instead of being burdened by sorrow. Who is that important person who gave her advice? It is Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, we all know Mahatma Gandhi. He is known for non-violence, isn't it? So here we will see how his advice has impacted the life of this great lady, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit. If you know about her, she was also in the United Nations. Okay, she was in fact the first woman president of the United Nations General Assembly. Okay, so we will see. We will start reading the story. The best advice I ever had came from one of the greatest souls the world has ever known, Mahatma Gandhi. On a sunny afternoon a decade ago, that means from the time she wrote, it happened around 10 years back. So she is recalling it and she is writing this incident as an article in the Reader's Digest. Most people pass through a period of anguish when their belief in humanity is at a low ebb. So when their life is at a low ebb, that means when they are feeling very depressed, that is when they will have lot of anguish. They go through a period of anguish. They're very sad. They don't know what to do. I was in such a period. So she was also going through such an anguish. Why? What is the reason for her anguish? My husband had recently died. See, this is the reason. This is one of the reasons. Okay, my husband had recently died. My deep sorrow over his loss was followed by the humiliating realization that in the eyes of Indian law I had no individual existence. See, first of all, now she is going through the sorrow that her husband has passed away. As if that is not enough, she is realizing one more bitter truth. What is that? In the eyes of law, this is not now, this is not happening in 2020. Okay, this has happened around 50-60 years back, when women had no right of their own. They didn't even exist in the law. They didn't have any power. So what does that mean? Along with other Indian women, I had participated for many years with men in the national struggle for freedom, working and suffering side by side with them until it had finally been achieved. Yet, in law, we women were still recognized only through relationship to men. See, what is she telling? She, being a woman, she has participated in the national struggle for independence, equal to men. If you have seen the old video clippings, even women, though women were supposed to be inside the house, when time came to fight against the British, there were so many women. They stepped out of their house to fight for the freedom of the nation. That is why she is telling we worked and suffered side by side with them. That means equal to them. She also worked equal to them. Still, that doesn't matter in law, according to law, because we women were still recognized only as somebody to a man, either a daughter or a wife or a mother, in relation to some men. Only then we are recognized. So this realization is hurting her very, very deeply. Now, as a widow without a son, see again in relation to a son, again a male, you have to be a woman in relation to a man, to the male. So she doesn't have a son, she doesn't have a husband, she only has two daughters. I was not entitled to any share of the family property, nor were my two daughters. I resented this galling position. So, this position is what is hurting her more. Because she doesn't have a son and she doesn't have a husband, she was not entitled to any property. Then, how will she live? What will happen to her? Law doesn't make any um, provision for that. But of course, now the situation has changed. But when she was in this situation, when she was living, she had to go through this. So it was very hurting for her. Her in laws have not given her. I was bitter towards those members of my family who supported this antiquated law. This is her in laws she's talking about. So now her in laws are telling your husband has died, so all that property will come back to us and it will not come to you because you don't have a son. So now she is angry with her in laws. At this time, I went to pay my respects to Gandhiji and say goodbye for leaving for America to take part in a conference. So now she has to go to America to take part in a conference. So she just wants to say goodbye to Gandhiji. After our talk, he asked, have you made your peace with your relatives? He's asking, have you made your peace? That means, have you gone and spoken to them and continuing to maintain a good relationship with your relatives? I was amazed that he would take sides against me. Now she is angry, that she is shocked in fact that Gandhiji, he knows everything, still he is asking me to go and talk to them. So she is shocked. So she is asking, I have not quarrelled with anyone, I replied, but I refuse to have anything to do with those who take advantage of an outworn law to create a difficult and humiliating situation for me. Now she is telling, see, even though there is a law, there is something called humanity, right? Something called moral. So you could have, she is telling, even though there is a law, they could have given it to me instead of following the law so strictly. And this is a humiliating situation for me. And that she's telling, they are taking advantage of the outworn. Outworn means which is outdated. That law they are taking advantage, and Gandhiji, she's telling, you're supporting them. Gandhiji looked out of the window for a moment. Then he turned to me and smiled and said, you will go and say goodbye because courtesy and decency demand this. In India, we still attach importance to these things. So Gandhiji is telling, you have to go. He is like almost like ordering. He is telling, you are going, you will go and say goodbye because courtesy, good manners. He is telling, don't worry about your in-laws. Think of yourself. You have to be good. You have to show good manners and decency. That is what in India, he is telling, our country is known for that. So you have to go. Now what did Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit say? No, I declared, not even to please you, I will go to those who wish to harm me. She is like retaliating. She is telling no, even not even to make you happy. To please you means to make you happy. Even to make you happy, I will not go there. So Gandhiji is telling, no one can harm you except yourself. He said, still smiling. He is telling, nobody will harm you except yourself. Then he continued, I see enough bitterness in you, in your heart, to cause you injury unless you check it. So Gandhiji is not talking about those people, her in-laws who are hurting her. He is telling, check in yourself. I see enough bitterness. Bitterness means anger. Okay. Inside you, inside your heart, that is injuring you. So that is what you have to check. Okay, because you are bitter towards them. That means it is hurting you, not them. So you have to check that. That is why I am telling you. I remained silent and he continued. You are going to a new country because you are unhappy and want to escape. Can you escape from yourself? Will you find happiness outside when there is bitterness in your heart? Think it over. Now Gandhiji is telling, see, you are trying to escape from them and you're going outside the country. But can you escape from yourself? Because where is the bitterness? It is inside Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit's heart. So Gandhiji is asking, can you escape from that? Be a little humble. You have lost a loved one. That is sorrow enough. Must you inflict further injury on yourself because you lack courage to cleanse your own heart? Gandhiji is telling, you already lost your loved one. That is, you lost your husband. That you already have so much sorrow. Should you inflict injury? That means you are injuring yourself by having bitter thoughts about them, those who hurt you. Is it even necessary for you to have that? Because you don't have courage to clean your heart. Okay. His words would not leave me. That means now his words have, it is in her mind, it is trying to bring about change in her. They gave me no peace. Now his words are buzzing in her ears. So his words are not giving her peace. After some days of severe struggle with myself, I finally telephoned my brother-in-law. I would like to come and see you and the family, I said, before leaving. Now at last, Gandhiji's words have started taking effect. Now she thought, okay, let me call my in-laws and make peace with them. I hadn't been with them 5 minutes before I sensed that my visit had brought a feeling of relief to everyone. Now, not even 5 minutes when she went to see them, and within 5 minutes she could realize that she could feel a sense of relief, not only for herself but for everybody. That means the ice is broken. Now they have made peace with everybody. Now she is feeling good. I told them of my plans and asked them for good wishes before starting on this new stage of my life. The effect on me was miraculous. I felt as if a great burden had been lifted and I was free to be myself. Now, after having this conversation with her in-laws, she's feeling good. How does she feel? As if a great burden had been lifted. So now she's feeling free. Imagine you are carrying a huge burden on your head. What is that burden here? Bad feeling, bitter feeling about those people who have hurt. So now she has made peace with them. Whatever those in-laws have caused her, whatever harm they have caused her, she has forgiven them. And she has removed that burden and thrown it away, and she has made peace. Now what has happened to her? She is feeling free. Okay, that is what Gandhiji taught her. Okay, not to have ill feelings about anyone, even if those people have hurt you. Because if you keep thinking about them, who is getting more hurt? Not the person who hurt you, but we. So that is why we have to remove those feelings, ill feelings about them, and throw it away and forgive them, so that we can be free. Okay, this is the end of part 1. Alright, you can go through the video once again if you haven't understood any part. In the next session we will see the continuation of this. Okay, see you, bye bye.